Hello, Indian Creek 8th grade students. This is Mr. Roush. Today we're going to be talking about part 1 of the Civil Rights Movement. When you think of the Civil Rights Movement, you're usually thinking about the 1950s to 1960s, but this has gone on even way before that. So since African Americans came to the United States, they've been suffering racism and discrimination. African Americans want what everybody wants: equal opportunities in jobs, housing, and education. In 1896, there was a Supreme Court ruling that upheld segregation. Segregation is the separation of people of different races. It stated separate but equal public facilities were legal. This was for schools, restaurants, bathrooms, water fountains, anywhere out in the public. As long as there was one for blacks and one for whites, it was legal. So the law from 1896 says separate but equal. Looking at this picture here, which school would you rather be in? Do both these schools look equal? They're definitely separated, but I don't think they look equal. The one has desks and things on the wall, and the other one looks like a one-room schoolhouse with no heat, that they relied on wood heat in the middle of the room. One group that was trying to challenge the laws of segregation was the NAACP, or the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. The chief lawyer for the NAACP was Thurgood Marshall, and he challenged the idea of separate but equal. The main case that he was involved with was Brown versus the Board of Education. Now this is where a 7-year-old Linda Brown was not able to attend an all-white school, which was only 2 blocks from her house. So the Brown family sued the school, but lost the lawsuit. This is where the NAACP got involved. The NAACP appealed the case to the Supreme Court in December of 1952. The NAACP argued that segregated schools were not equal to white schools. Segregated schools also violated the 14th Amendment, which is equal protection of the laws for all. In May 17, 1954, it was deemed unconstitutional to segregate school children based on race. Now they were forced to integrate schools, or bring races together. Just because integration was now a law doesn't mean everyone was going to follow it, just like people don't follow every law that's made today. In 1957, the federal judge ordered Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas, to admit African American students to an all-white school. The governor of Arkansas, Orville Faubus, opposed integration. He ordered the National Guard to prevent the African American students from entering the school. For the first time since the Civil War, a southern state had defied the authority of the federal government. Although President Eisenhower had some doubts about the Brown decision, he believed it was his duty to enforce the law. The president warned Faubus that if the governor did not admit the students, the federal government would act. In which they did. The federal government got involved, and Faubus removed the National Guard from the building. President Eisenhower also sent troops to make sure the students were safe at the school. Since there were 9 students integrating into the school, they were called the Little Rock Nine. On December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks boarded a bus in Montgomery, Alabama. She was tired from working all day, so she sat down in the only seats that were available, which was in the front of the bus, which is usually the white section of the bus. When more white passengers got onto the bus, she refused to move to the back of the bus, where she was segregated to. At the next stop, she was removed by the police and fined $10 for breaking the law. The arrest of Rosa Parks led to African Americans in Montgomery to organize a boycott, which a boycott is a refusal to use the services, which in this fact, they refused to use the city's buses. This really hurt the city of Montgomery because about 75% of the bus riders were African Americans. And this boycott lasted over a year of the buses. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made an impact on the crowd at a boycott meeting. He declared, "We're here because, first and foremost, we are American citizens, and we are determined to acquire our citizenship to the fullest of its meaning. We are tired of being segregated and humiliated, tired of being kicked around by the brutal feet of oppression. Martin Luther King Jr. helps people organize different carpools to get to work. Sometimes they had to walk miles just to get there. A lot of people rode bikes. And the whole boycott really hurt the business in the city of Montgomery. The bus company lost thousands of dollars in fares, and downtown businesses lost a bunch of customers. Finally, the Supreme Court settled the matter by ruling that the Montgomery bus segregation law was unconstitutional. In December, the boycott ended. Boycotts are still present in today's society, except now they're using hashtags and social media to spread the word. Since a lot of people are not happy with President Trump, a lot of people boycotted his products. So if nobody's buying them, the stores are forced to pull them off their shelves, and Trump is no longer getting paid. With the victory in Montgomery, King became a leader in the civil rights movement. He followed the tactics of A. Philip Randolph, who was the nation's most prominent African American labor leader. He was also strongly influenced by Mahatma Gandhi, who had used nonviolent protests to help India gain independence from Great Britain. Gandhi also used protest methods based on civil disobedience, or the refusal to obey laws that are considered unjust. In January of 1957, Martin Luther King and 60 other ministers started a new organization called the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, or the SCLC. The SCLC leaders emphasized nonviolent protest. They showed civil rights workers how to protect themselves from violent attacks. The SCLC also discussed how to identify targets for protests and how to organize people for support. In taking these steps, the SCLC prepared African Americans for the struggle of equal rights. Well, that's all we have for today. Our next video will focus on the 1960 election between John F. Kennedy and Richard M. Nixon. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.